about CBEX.
Yeah, and SEC has come out to say, no, they are not registered.
Did you invest with them?
No, I didn't. All right, then, thank you so much. The Securities and Exchange Commission has stated that the crypto bridge exchange, also known as CBEX, was not granted registration by the Commission at any time to operate as a digital asset exchange. In a circular dated April 17, 2025, the Commission stated that its attention has been drawn to recent media publications on the activities of the crypto bridge exchange, CBEX, which also operates under the corporate identity of ST Technologies International Limited. Smart Treasure Super Technology has held itself out as a digital assets trading platform offering high returns to investors in Nigeria. According to SEC, the Commission clarifies that neither CBEX or its affiliates were granted registration by the Commission at any time to operate as a digital exchange, asset exchange, to solicit investments for the public or perform any other function within the Nigerian capital market. The report further states that preliminary investigations carried out by the Commission have revealed that CBEX engaged in promotional activities to create a false perception of legitimacy in order to entice unsuspecting members of the public into investing monies with the promise of impossibly high guaranteed returns within a short time frame. Earlier today, an economist with SPM Professionals, Mr. Paul Alaje, was a guest on our news program Beyond the Headlines. He bears his mind on this development.
There is a new law signed by His Excellency, Mr. President, that anybody that carries out Ponzi will go on 10 years jail term, and will also pay Securities and Exchange Commission will charge a fine of about 20 million naira. It is when you know you are looking for a black pot, but you have not even found any pot. So the initial thing is that people have to report to SEC or any other organization. So the first step is that we need to come up with strategy of communication. For instance, CBC is a reputable media organization, at least in Nigeria and the rest of Africa. Securities and Exchange Commission, Central Bank of Nigeria must get to a point where they deliberately sponsor programs to educate people.
Illegitimate air cargo trades would be met with stiff resistance unless operators comply with existing trade laws. This warning comes from the Murtala Mohammed Area Command of the Nigerian Customs Service following its first quarter performance review. TVC News senior business correspondent Ifunanya Eze reports.
At the Murtala Mohammed Area Customs Command, there is a renewed momentum in revenue generation. Comptroller Michael Awe, while presenting the command's first quarter 2025 revenue scorecard, announced a total collection of 45.77 billion naira, a slight increase of 276 million naira from the 45.49 billion naira generated in the same period last year, marking a 0.61% rise.
This impressive performance was made possible through enhanced compliance of our stakeholders, continuous monitoring and enforcement of trade regulations, as well as prompt intervention and blockage of identified loopholes. We have commended all the command's compliance trades and stakeholders who have continued to support the command revenue drive in line with the service mandate.
In its anti-smuggling operations, the command recorded seizures with a total duty paid value of over 132 million naira.
In terms of anti-smuggling activities, the command made the following seizure during the period under review: 4 packages of immigration camouflage uniform in roads, 19 packages of 2-way Motorola walkie-talkie, as well as 3 packages of Colorado cat leaf.
Comptroller Aware emphasized that the seizures were intelligence-driven and achieved through collaboration with sister agencies. Ifunanya Eze, TVC News, Lagos.
From ports now to the stock markets, where there's heaved a sigh of relief from last week's losses as securities prices improved across board. Trade indexes rose to the height of 0.38% in mid-trade, helping prices to reset upwards. The biggest stock price gainers was Abe Buildings with nearly 10% tick up. Others that followed were Nigerian Breweries, ABC Transport, Livestock Feed and ETI. The decliners in price values included Suno Assurance, Ella Lakes, Cornerstone Insurance, Sovereign Insurance, and Universal Insurance. Well, Asians equities edged higher today while the dollar firmed slightly as traders took stock of trade negotiations between the United States and Japan, even as uncertainties kept sentiments fragile. Investors were also digesting comments from the Federal Reserve's chair, Jerome Powell, who warned of the risk of slowing growth due to tariffs. Japan's Nikkei rose 0.7%. The yuan weakened as Japan kicked off talks with the United States. Trump, who unexpectedly joined the negotiations, declared big progress in the discussions with lead Japanese negotiator, Mr. Ryoshi Akazawa. In Asia, stock markets were mixed after U.S. stocks closed lower. South Korea's benchmark index rose 0.7%. Taiwan stocks fell 0.5%. European futures pointed to a subdued start. Chinese stocks were tentative, with the blue chip stocks index little changed, with Hong Kong Hang Seng index, which rose 1.6%, led by a rebound in tech shares. U.S. Federal Reserve's Chairman Jerome Powell has warned of a short-term rise in inflation over tariff hikes, while supply chain disruptions could lead to more persistent pressure. Federal Reserve's chair said this at the Economic Club of Chicago, where he discussed President Trump's administration's tariff increases on foreign countries. He said the level of tariff increases announced so far is significantly larger than expected, and the economic effects poses a challenging scenario. And data released by the China's National Bureau of Statistics shows gross domestic product reached 31.8 trillion yuan in the first quarter of this year, marking a 5.4% year-on-year increase in real terms. On a quarter-on-quarter basis, China's GDP grew by 1.2% in the first quarter. The report shows that the value-added industrial output rose by 7.7% in March, after 5.9% growth in the first 2 months of the year. Retail sales, a key measurement of consumer spending, increased by 5.9%. Despite improvement in key economic indicators, the NBS warned of pressures from external environments, domestic demand, stating the foundation for sustained recovery need to be consolidated. NBS said the country should implement more proactive and effective macro policies while also making efforts to stimulate market entity and actively responding to uncertainties from external environment. And finally, crude oil prices extended gains today on the prospects of tighter supply from Washington. Imposed further sanctions to curb Iranian oil trade. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude is up 1.02%, selling for $60.11. Brent is up 0.82%, selling for $66.39. Bonnie Light is down 2.84%, selling for $78.62. And